Hello and welcome to digi8.com. In this video, we are going to cover the topic on conflict resolution. Now let's start with the definition of conflict resolution. A conflict is a very usual occurrence in the workplace and private life. It can arise out of various sources of diversity. It can also take place due to varied issues. However, generally it arises from values, goals, priorities, needs or interests that clash. This is because there are now more ways of looking at something than there are real differences. Conflict resolution can be said to be the technique and approach that help in bringing about peaceful close to a conflict. Dedicated team members try to fix group conflicts. They actively relay information regarding their conflicting beliefs or motives to others in the team. Moving on to conflict resolution strategies. First, avoidance. This happens when someone changes the course of or dodges a subject. They might act as if the issue does not even exist. There is a distaste for sticking to the rules. This style is employed due to cultural factors when one is uncomfortable with conflict or when a person has retreated from engaging with other people. In a conflict, avoiders use a wait-and-see approach. They let the conflict work itself out without engaging with it. By refusing to deal with high conflict scenarios, avoiders risk allowing problems to balloon out of their grasp. Next, yielding. In comparison, suppression, accommodating, smoothing, or yielding conflict styles exhibit a lot of care for others. However, care towards oneself is low. This method is quite pro-social. It can be seen when a person likes to cater to the needs of others. They would have a desire to have positive, stable social relationships. In the face of a conflict, people with this approach sink in with the demand of others. This happens because they respect the social relationship. Next, competitive. The competitive fighting or forcing conflict style is used by people to make the most of concern for self, that is individual assertiveness. It decreases concern for others, that is empathy. Competitive participants usually like dominating others. They view any clash situation as a point where one can either win or lose. Such individuals generally compel others to agree with their perspectives. This is done by engaging in competition for power through altercations, barbs, allegations, or sometimes violence. This instills intimidation. Moving on to the fourth, conciliation. Conciliation approach is used by people who have a moderate need for catering to the needs of both the self and others. They give importance to being just. Thus, they set up a bonding of mutual benefits. This is a mixture of cooperative and yielding approaches. Conciliation approach is also referred to as compromising approach to conflict resolution. And finally, cooperation. This is when a person proactively cares for both pro-self and pro-social needs. This can be seen when a person really wants to see their own needs and those of others catered to enthusiastically. In the face of a conflict, such people will work with others to come to a shared mutually beneficial outcome that is wanted by all. This can be done by making the aggressor let his guard down. The aggressor's ego can then be fed. Moving on to steps to resolve a conflict. First, agreement to discuss and lay the basic framework for interacting. A resolution cannot be reached without discussion. Thus, this is step 1. If a framework is established, then the parties can try and come to a positive result. Step 2. Ideas and emotions can be put across turn by turn. Once ground rules are set, the parties can start discussing the events. One party can start off putting across their emotions, thoughts, experiences and point of view. The others can then follow. Step 3. Find the conflict. Once the turns are complete, the basis of the argument should be declared in the open. Some time can be put into declaring what the problem is. If it is put across with ease, then everyone can be on the same page. Step 4. Ways of resolving the conflict can be thought over turn by turn. This is the brainstorming stage. You're trying to think of ways that might resolve the conflict. You might have ideas, thoughts or possibilities for resolving the conflict. This might need someone to step back a little from their position. In this step, participants can just say what they wish to see being done. Step 5. Decide on a solution. At this stage, an agreement is reached. Initially, the most appealing concept is talked about. It might also be helpful to find a shared solution. Step 6. Mention what the fix is. Post-agreement, the solution can be declared. This is similar to mentioning the issue. It helps participants remember what the outcome was. And finally, step 7. Time for assessing. The solution has to be decided. Once the meeting is over, another meeting can be decided upon. One can assess how well the previous solution is working. There might be a need for changes. A time for this reassessment meeting can be decided before the discussion ends. And finally, 12 conflict resolution skills. First, empathy. Next, tranquility, perspective taking, objectivity, creative problem solving, letting it go, decisiveness, respect dissimilarities, accountability, active listening, non-bias, and the most important, accepting criticism. So that's it folks. This brings an end to the topic on conflict resolution. These are some of the sources and links referred to for the content in the video.
Thank you and see you in the next video.